Grew up in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, and I left the 10th grade in high school when I joined the Navy. Well, the war was on. All the young fellas were going in the service, so I figured I'd just join the crowd. Being from Manitowoc, Wisconsin, I grew up during the war when submarines were being built there in Manitowoc, and that's where I became interested in them, so I decided to join the submarine service.
How did your parents feel about your joining?
They weren't too happy about it, but they went along with me.
How did you end up becoming ship's cook?
That was the only rank I could go into to get on submarines at the time. Or that I would have been qualified for, because I had done some cooking before.
Now, you came on board Bowfin in October 1945. Can you tell me a bit about your duties on board and your daily routine?
I reported aboard. I was the ship's cook striker, which is the equivalent of being an apprentice on the outside civilian life. And there were three of us. The first class petty officer was in charge, and the second class cook, and I was the apprentice. And after about a year, I made petty officer third class ship's cook. And this was my workstation right here in the galley.
Tell me a bit about how you functioned in this small space.
Yes. Well, it was one man would have the duty, cooking duty for the day, and there wasn't really room for two men to work. It was pretty crowded. But one man could cook for the entire crew, and the officers, which were generally ran about 7 men. And then there were two KPs, which the Army calls them KPs. In the Navy, they're called mess cooks. They were the helpers. They did the vegetable prep, peeling potatoes and cleaning up duties in the mess hall, which is outside the galley. But the cook was alone for the day, as a rule, and he did 3 meals right in this space here. We had two ranges, 2 ovens. You had your bins for your sugar, coffee, flour, rice, storage bins here. Everything's compact, but everything you need was right in this small space.
And the officers' meals were prepared from the same kitchen?
Everybody's food came out of this galley, and the steward's mates who served the officers would come to the forward part of the ship back here, put the officers' food into their serving trays and carry it forward to the officers' mess hall. But it was all the crew and the officers ate the same meal.
Now, how many hours a day would your day as a cook be?
Well, you get up at about 5. You cooked all 3 meals. It would run approximately 13-hour day. You'd be cleaned up and out by 6:30 at night. Cooked 12, 13 hours, and then you were off the next day. You had, at sea, you had 2 cooks who worked every other day, and then the third man would be the baker. He'd cook, bake at night, and then you would relieve him at 5 in the morning. His pastries and desserts were done by then.
Were there other duties that you were responsible for on board?
Well, during battle stations, you were assigned different duties. My particular battle station was on the 5-inch gun as a loader. And you would vary. For a while, you may be on a gun, and then a month or 2 probably would be transferred to some other area, perhaps manning the battle phones in the mess hall. It would vary. You weren't doing your occupational job.